CNN 10, your daily down-the-middle explanation of world events. I'm Carl Azus. It's great to be starting off a new week with you. We have a couple quick headlines to cover first today on this Monday after Easter. In fact, the first involves Easter itself, the most significant holy day for the world's Christians. This is how services looked last year in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. And this is how they looked on Sunday with Vatican City under the same lockdown as surrounding Italy. Pope Francis, the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, participated in one of many services shown on TV and online as millions of Christians virtually attended church following social distancing guidelines on the day that commemorates Jesus Christ's resurrection. Some churches held drive-through and parking lot services, and some worshipers planned to celebrate in person anyway. And that brought up a number of legal questions and lawsuits in America as issues of health restrictions and religious freedom clashed with one another. Many businesses, crucial parts of the U.S. economy, have been shut down for weeks because of coronavirus fears. Unemployed and furloughed workers have fears about making ends meet.
There are a lot of people like me who are just wondering how long this is going to be.
Some help is on the way, though. The first wave of checks, direct payments to Americans from the government's $2 trillion stimulus package, were sent out over the weekend. For those who are eligible, hundreds if not thousands of dollars could arrive in the days and weeks ahead. We don't know yet when the stay-at-home and shelter-in-place orders will be lifted, but the United States has now seen more cases and deaths from coronavirus than any other country. So health officials say removing the restrictions too soon could make things worse.
Most states are not going to reach their peak of coronavirus cases for 1 to 2 weeks. Now remember, why we are doing this lockdown is so that that peak doesn't overwhelm what our hospitals can handle.
More than 1.8 million people worldwide have contracted COVID-19. Most people who get the disease will recover. So the next question for them is, are they now immune to coronavirus, and for how long?
According to the Coronavirus Task Force, more than 2 million tests have now been performed in the United States. And yet there are still people who need to be tested, such as healthcare workers who can't get one. It's part of the reason there is now so much interest in a different kind of test, an antibody test. Dr. Fauci told CNN on Friday it's coming soon.
I'm certain that that's going to happen, that within a period of a week or so, we're going to have a rather large number of tests that are available.
But what exactly are antibodies? They are proteins in the immune system that develop days after someone has been infected. And it's the antibodies that make someone immune to becoming reinfected. It means two things. You were previously infected, and you are now likely to be protected, at least for a while.
We think it'll be a tool to help us get people back to work. It'll be additional information because, as you know, if you have an antibody, that means you were exposed and have recovered from it. That, with the information about diagnosis, should help.
That's why public health agencies around the world want these antibody tests, because it could help some people get back to their daily lives. You remember the swab test we're all familiar with? Well, that tests for the virus itself, specifically its genetic material. Problems are, first of all, at some point after you recover, that test will be negative. And secondly, a lot of people have had trouble getting that diagnostic test in the first place. The antibody test is more definitive. There are only a few reasons you would have antibodies in your blood. You got someone else's antibodies by an injection of their blood. You got a vaccine, which teaches your body to make antibodies. Or you were infected. The antibody test requires a sample of your blood and this strip, which has proteins from the virus on it. If your blood reacts to that strip, it means you have antibodies in your blood.
And I think really being able to tell them the peace of mind that would come from knowing you already were infected, you have antibody, you're safe from reinfection 99.9% of the time. And so this, I think, would be very reassuring to our frontline healthcare workers.
Another benefit of antibody testing, surveillance. In places like Miami-Dade County, Florida, Santa Clara County, California, and Telluride, Colorado, they have already started using antibody tests to get a better sense of how many people, many of whom will be surprised to learn, have already been exposed to the virus.
10-second trivia. Where would you find a yeoman known as the Raven Master? Notre Dame, Maryland Zoo in Baltimore, Tower of London, or Edgar Allan Poe Museum? The Raven Master cares for the famous ravens of the Tower of London. They've been a fixture at the tower since, well, no one really knows. What we can tell you is that there are 7 of them. There is a legend that in the 1600s, King Charles II ordered that the ravens be kept around the tower to protect the country. There was a superstition that if they left, disaster would strike England. But just like there are a lot of legends, myths, and stories about the Tower of London itself, there are a lot of legends about the animals. And the modern-day Raven Master says there's not a lot of proof the ravens were there before the late 1800s. One thing we know for certain, his job's for the birds, and his beat is the next stop in our ongoing series of virtual field trips.
My name is Chris Gafe. I'm the Raven Master at Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London, and I am responsible for the safety and the welfare of our magnificent ravens. Did you have a nice night out there? There are many myths and legends associated with the tower, and one such legend reminds us that should the ravens leave the Tower of London, it will crumble and a great harm will befall the kingdom. So we keep the ravens here in order to save the kingdom. I have a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I start early in the morning. I ensure that the area that they're going to spend their day out and about freely around the tower is clean. I feed them, look after them, let them out during the day, make sure that they're nice and healthy for the members of the public to come in and see them.
You're really still love, aren't you? Yes, you are.
My relationship with the ravens depends very much on the actual personality of each individual raven that we have here at the Tower of London. One of our oldest ravens, Raven Moonin, doesn't really like me. She fell out with me many years ago for some reason I don't know. Yet I do have a large bonding with one of our other ravens called Merlin, and we're really good friends. This is of course my home. There are currently 37 serving yeoman warders inside the walls of the Tower of London, and about 150 people live inside this iconic building. As far as I'm aware, I am officially the only Raven Master in the world, so I consider that quite a responsible job. I think Her Majesty the Queen would too.
If you've ever stopped what you're doing, looked up at the sky and thought, whoa, I wonder what the Hubble Space Telescope could see on my birthday, well, now you can know. The observatory was launched into orbit in 1990. It's been maintained and upgraded through numerous spacewalks, and all this has come at a cost to the US that approaches $10 billion. But as it's whirled around the world at 17,000 miles per hour, it's taken some incredible images of the universe beyond it, and there have been so many pictures throughout the year that NASA says it has one for your birthday. Not the year, of course, that would weed out anyone born before 1990, but if you know the month and date of your birth, even if that's February 29th of a leap year, Hubble has taken a picture of space that NASA will share with you. And some would say, NASA pretty cool. Maybe they'd call it hubbling that they're not hubbled by time and space. It's fun to become universed in what you can galaxy from the great beyond. Just hubble on over to your computer, maybe with a slice of Hubble pie, and take the trouble to appreciate a whole scope of possibilities. Okay, that's enough of that. Grand Forks Central High School is taking the trouble to appreciate CNN 10 today. Thanks to all of you for watching from Grand Forks, North Dakota. I'm Carl Azus.